Hi there, this is Ricky Pounds and I'm back again to talk about ceramics. This time I'm going to be talking about not German ceramics but English ceramics, and universally Wedgwood. Now Wedgwood really are the name I think that people would think of if you talked about English ceramics, really from the 18th century all the way through to today. They were really part of the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, which saw Wedgwood exported to all corners of the earth. They were incredibly successful, and Wedgwood himself, Josiah Wedgwood, incredibly hard-working, a brilliant mixture, I think, of a businessman with an eye for art, for technology, and everything that went with it. Incredibly hard working. So I'm going to start with the first 4 objects today, and this is, and for those of you that are into your English artists etc, may be able to recognise him straight away. It is of course Sir Joshua Reynolds. Now Sir Joshua Reynolds, apart from being really a household name in art, was also the first president of the Royal Academy, which were a group that met together, an institution rather, to promote the arts in terms of artists, sculptures, and of course architects as well. So really all of those professions. Now if I turn this over, you can actually see, if I get a little bit close, on the back it is written Sir Joshua Reynolds, and you've got the early Wedgwood mark there in the middle. Now this is what we called dipped, in that the green that you can see is dip. Now that's Jasper dip. And in the 18th century this was developed probably in the early 1770s, and it was a cheaper way really of doing Jasperware, because before that you had your solid Jasperware, which was very much more expensive to produce. But in doing this they did manage to produce some lovely coloured surrounds, and this one, as you can see, is pale green. The outside frame is probably 19th century, mid 19th century. Now the second one I'm going to show you is much smaller, and it's also earlier. If I can get that there just in front of you. It is a Roman emperor. This is the Roman Emperor Gallienus. Now he dates, this particular model dates from 1773, as I said, a year before Jasperware was actually invented in 1774. It's actually stamped on the back with the name. You can see there you've got the number 41, and if I turn it on its other end you may be able just to make out there it's stamped Wedgwood and Bentley, who was one of his early partners. Now the frame is also interesting. It is an original frame. It was designed by someone called Matthew Bolton, who is actually quite well known at this particular time in silversmith making of frames etc. He was an English businessman, as I say, he was an inventor, he was a mechanical engineer, and he was a silversmith. He was also an important member of something called the Lunar Society, which were set in the Midlands, and it was a group of inventors, of businessmen that come together under a full moon, and they did this to really provide the light, to light the way in terms of security to the places they were meeting. So this is a very good example. It's actually a kind of biscuit terracotta rather than Jasperware, which would come along a year later. Wedgwood also had a number of categories which he placed these medallions and medals in as well, and there were several hundred of them. Now the last examples are probably my favourite. They are solid Jasperware. They are salt cellars, and I will show you these. Absolutely beautiful. As you can see, top and bottom it's all solid Jasper, and so that would have been the Jasper that was put into the original mix. You've got various bits of sprigging going on here. You've got some lovely cherubs. You've got what appears to be a dragonfly. a little child on the back of what appears to be a panther, a neoclassical urn, and you've got a mother with her daughter or grandchild, more cherubs, etc. And then you've got this lovely interlocking coin above and below, sometimes known as guilloche in architectural terms. You'll see it's polished, lovely polished on the inside, and if I turn it onto its back, you've got a hole for ventilation, and here, just over here, you've got the Wedgwood mark itself. Absolutely beautiful. And as I say, I'll show you the second one in that particular set. You've got here, you've got a little cherub playing a musical instrument. You've got some more dancing around there. Lovely flower. Another panther with a boy on, a neoclassical urn. And this is one of the most famous, I suppose, of the sprigging designs at the time. So the sprigs are the white pieces that you can see, which were applied later on. Now, this particular design was designed by someone called Lady Templetown in around 1780. This particular salt cellar dates from 1785, and what we got here is a mother instructing her daughter on how to sew. And so, as I said, this was known as domestic employment, this particular design, but there was another design known as maternity. And again, if I turn it upside down, you can see the hole, you can see the Wedgwood mark, and I will just show you them both together once more. A beautiful, beautiful pair, dating from 1785, and once more the little plaque of the Roman Emperor with the original frame. This dates to 1773, a year before Jasper was invented. And then finally what we started with, Sir Joshua Reynolds. If you look here, beautifully undercut to give the figure some depth. Lovely hair done in the style of the day. A ponytail at the back there with his wig, set against a lovely green background, green dip, in a 19th century frame, and on the back there, scrawled, you could just about make out the name Sir Joshua Reynolds. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, and I'll try to get at least one video out a month. Thank you very much.